Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and today I do apologize that we're late, but we are talking about the final episodes of Shōgun. And right off the bat, I do like that these episodes really subvert your expectations, because I didn't expect the show to go where it did.
Neither did I. Like, holy fuck. I love it though.
Yeah,
I really do. Because, okay. If y'all don't know, we're doing episode 7 all the way to 10.
yeah,
And the entire ride is. How would I say it? Like, it's not a roller coaster ride. It's more of like a rapids.
yeah,
You know, it's kind of smooth, but then you got some dips, and it's not like screaming all throughout.
yeah,
There's not a lot of fight scenes, oddly enough, which is what I was kind of expecting. Of like, oh, I want more samurai fighting, like war, like again, like what was the name of that game again? Command and Conquer was no, that's the other one. Total War. There we go.
yeah,
I was expecting that kind of shit where we're like, oh, Toranaga is like commanding one side of the army and the other, and they have archers and all that.
yeah,
That is not the case. It is really like a really convoluted game of chess against like the region, like a 5 versus 1
yeah,
kind of deal, and it's so good. It is so fucking good. I'm like, not gonna lie, I don't know if you did it, but I have to admit I had to look up some explanations because I was like, I think Torunaga might be a little, or like the writer of the show might be a little too smart for me. So I'm
right,
like, I don't know what's happening.
yeah.
And then they'll be like, yeah, go on.
Just the odd stack against Toranaga, from like his brother betraying him to like all of the regions finally agreeing that it's his time to die. And you're like, I don't understand. I don't know how Toranaga hopes to get out of the situation if he's so defeatist right off the bat, because he does surrender. And you're like, shit, what the fuck do we do now? What the fuck is
Yeah.
Anjin-san going to do now?
Yeah, not gonna lie, I feel like Ajin-san didn't do a lot
No.
when it comes to like his role, which is supposed to be naval. And I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be naval battle. Not the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love that shit though. When we were like, oh, we're supposed to have the brother and they're gonna team up, and they're like, yes, we're gonna have the army that we lost in the earthquake,
Yeah.
the thing that we lost in the landslide. And of course they're busting balls with each other. There's kind of like a camaraderie, even though they haven't talked to each other for a while. And then bit by bit you're like, it starts to peel away that like, oh, by the way, I'm like the 5th region. And I'm like, then what's all of this shenaniganizing,
Right.
like well, what's this ruse that you're putting, like, oh, you're drinking with us, you're busting balls with everybody, you're making fun of like Torunaga because he's your brother. And we're like, it was like, oh, so you're just here to demoralize us.
Right.
God damn.
And like Toranaga's son dies too, trying to cut the head of the snake, and you're like, what the fuck do we do now?
I love that though. No, I don't like the how he died, of course, like, because it from one of the YouTube videos I saw, it was like they explained it very well, where this is a culture where they accept death. Death
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing, and it's something to not be feared, and something to be respected. But the way that he died, and the final line that like the brother gave was like, "Where's the beauty in this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
eesh. And yeah, you kind of have to agree, because he did it in such a cowardly way, where he's like, he kind of goes behind, Toranaga's back, and like he kind of did the same thing with like the cannons
Yeah.
in like the 4th episode, I think.
Yeah, yeah. He attacked him in a dishonorable way, and he pays the ultimate price, and you're like, fuck, well, that's what you get in this world. You get what you give. I also do like the fact that Toranaga has a plan, and it involves him like deceiving his enemies that he is so on the losing streak, like he believes that this is the end. Even so much so
Yeah.
that he tells his friend Hiromatsu that I need you to do something that will ultimately cost you your life, but we need to make them think that I am a loser. I am like, all right, I surrender now.
Yeah, because we did mention like there is a hidden enemy here, which is spies, which they never showed.
Yeah,
They never showed us who were the spies. They never showed like this character is actually like part of the region or some shit like that. No, there are spies, and we don't know where they are.
yeah,
All we know is that they're getting information, and we don't know how they're doing it. But yeah, but Toranaga knows that,
yeah,
so he had to like really play up that my son's dead, my best friend's dead, I am sick, which I'm bullshit. Uh, and like he just really had to show like, yeah, he's demoralized, he's losing.
yeah.
We got him on it. And
Ah,
by the way, can I talk about that scene where his friend had to like deny
yeah,
the surrender, thus committing seppuku,
yeah.
and having his son, I forgot what his name was.
Buntaro,
Buntaro, the husband of
Mariko.
Mariko. He has to like cut off his head. And I was like, the look on Toranaga's face, I was like he's in deep regret. He's like, I did not want to do this, but
Yeah.
it's the only way.
Yeah, and his secret weapon is Mariko. I don't think we ever expressed this enough, but I think Anna Sawi as Mariko is pretty excellent in the show. Like, she's the second standout in my opinion. Like,
Agreed.
it's her and Hiroyuki Sanada who are really carrying the show. Like, not to say that Cosmo Jarvis as Anjin's son is bad, but like, he's literally just our eyes into this world. He's just like a deer in the headlights, constantly confused with the ways of Japan and the samurai. And just like, I guess we're all surrendering now, and that's why he calls out Toranaga and the rest of his clan. He's just like, you're all dead to me. You just led me into this great big shenanigan for nothing, and now I'm caught in
Yeah.
the middle again. I'm a prisoner once again. Fuck. I just wanted to go home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, going back to Mariko, I like her character. Like it's all throughout the entire like show, she has been a stand, but like this is where we start to like delve in deep with her character.
Yeah.
Like we have that scene with her in Buntaro where she's like, I was like, oh, I'll finally give you the gift of like taking your life. Where she was like, that is not what I meant. What I mean by taking my life is that I want to be away from you as far as possible. I'm like, I was like, fuck. And like legit marriage story setting, but in Japan.
Yeah.
Just like he's like making her tea like as a peace offering, but like we do recall like he is abusive. He is
Yeah.
a horrible partner.
Yeah.
Like he does love her, but he's just an ass of a partner. I'm like, oh.
He's just when she leaves, he's just like, like, well, you get what you give, you know?
I guess so. I guess so. I did feel bad. Like for sure, there was like a moment of like him trying to like how would I say? Like he's trying to like make amends for
Yeah.
like what he has done and like try to apologize, but of course, damage has been done, and it's irreversible.
Yeah.
And like yeah, the opening scene to that episode, which was like very Mariko centered, was her running away
Yeah.
from the marriage, thus leading her to the church.
Yeah. And she is the daughter of the original traitor, the Lord. I forgot his name, but like, she's like the daughter of an enemy clan. That's why she seeks revenge. Like, she seeks death by seeking revenge. And like, she gets her chance when Toranaga sends her to Asuka, and like Lord Ishido's like, you're here to make peace, right? She's like, no, I'm here to take back Toranaga's people. We're leaving with or without your permission. And just like, okay. Lord Ishido's like, no, you're not. You're staying here. And they try to leave. We have this cool scene where her people try to leave, her samurai make their last stand, and then she takes up her spear, and you're like, I hope she doesn't die by this. I really don't.
Like I do love it that because in scenes like this where we're in usual movie style where there's like around 6 or 7 samurais like surrounding her.
Yeah.
You feel like, oh, they're armored up. This would be enough against God knows like maybe a couple of guys. they get wiped out. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is very realistic.
Right.
I was like, you would expect like one samurai to take out maybe 7 people and then go down, but like some of them just like, ah,
Right.
I get hit by an arrow and just go down.
And
And
that
I was
one
like,
guy
okay.
who's just like, "It's been an honor, ma'am," and gets stabbed. You're like, okay. The guy who just politely is waiting. I'm like, all right, say your amends, and then I'll kill you. And he's like, all right, thank you, ma'am. And you get stabbed in
Yeah.
the neck or back. You're like, oh, okay.
And like how Mariko fights her, she was holding her own like pretty well, but it's just she's a bit outnumbered.
Yeah.
But like her screaming and like her battle cry, I was like, please don't die yet.
Right.
Like not now,
Right.
not now.
For also another stand-out is Yabu Shige, the guy who's just playing both ends. Like,
I love the Japanese Judas. You know, like, like I get it. He's a horrible character. Like, if in real life, if there was a person like this, I would stay miles away from him.
yeah.
But his character is so intriguing. It's so fun
Yeah.
to see him like jump ship once like one is going down. But there was a point where he was like, "Hey, by the way, we kind of know what you're doing. Here's the head of the former regent. This is what's gonna happen to you if you keep it up." And we're like, "All right, I guess I'm stuck with Toranaga."
Right. He's like, well, shit. And that's what makes it like we all always knew that he was gonna jump ship, but even though we knew that, the moment he leads the door open for the shinobi, you're like, I fucking knew it, you son of a bitch, you fucking traitors, scumbag.
Yeah, it's so fucked. I
Yeah.
was like, I mean, the entire scene was cool. Again, it's supposed to be realistic, but I was expecting like John Wick style ninjas, where they like come out of the shadows and like kill somebody and go back in.
Right.
But like when they were sneaking around, one person was like,
Yeah. Even
I was like, some
Anjin-san,
ninjas you are.
some Anjin-san's able to take out like 2, and you're like, I thought you were supposed to be ninjas. Oh well, alright.
Yeah, that shit was sick though. Like he like bust a hole into like the door and like grabbed onto a guy and shot him through the door.
Yeah, I was like, well, so much for being assassins, or expert assassins.
Yeah.
Oh, forgot to mention before that, like, Mariko, since she couldn't leave Osaka, planned to commit seppuku, and the guy she asked to second her wasn't there, so she asked to Anjin-san, like,
No, he didn't. She didn't ask him. He offered like, "Alright, I'll do it."
yeah,
And like one of the main regents like, you don't need to do that.
and you're just like, I really hope Mariko doesn't spill her guts in the scene. Jesus Christ, why do you do this?
Yeah. And like we get a scene where her and John Blackthorne are like, you know, having a moment. And they're like, oh, this is their happy ending. You know, this is where they like, yeah, you know, she's gonna leave Buntaro. She's gonna have a life of her own, and then she blows up.
Right?
Look, like they try to escape. They try to get as much hostages as they can, because, yeah, pretty much the shinobis were the Order 66. Just take on every hostage that we have.
Yeah.
That's part of Toranaga's clan,
Yeah.
and they finally hide themselves in like a what do you call it? A cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sadly ballistics are coming in and it's like, alright, we got this.
And
Like
Mariko's
demolition team just blows up the doors, Rainbow Six Siege style.
yeah, she denounces Ishido's attack, so they know that it's Lord Ishido. And then she dies, and you're just like, well, now what? We're at the last episode. What the fuck do we do now? Mariko's gone. Toranaga has no army. How the fuck does this end?
Again, I really thought like John Blackburn would like grab her and like, you know, like cover her from the blast, but no, it's just like, bam. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I do not want to see a cut in half Mariko, please.
Yeah.
And thankfully they just gave her like, you know, whole body. She just looks like she got knocked out, but she's dead.
Yeah, unfortunately. We also learned that she has, who was it? She made an arrangement to spare Anjin-san's life in exchange for hers, and he's just like, okay. Well, my time in Japan has been horrible. It's a 1 out of 10. Would not recommend. I'm going back home.
Would not come back. Food is great.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you see, what's his name again? Judas.
Oh, yeah, Bushige losing his cool.
Yeah, yeah, like like after the aftermath of what happened to Mariko, he's like sitting with the regent and he's like, hey, you got a seat in the office, so like you can take it if you want. And he's like losing his shit, like there's a catfish in the pot. And he's like, that's a bad omen. Or like I think it was a earthquake that was happening because they were declaring war
Yeah.
on Toranaga, and then the earthquake came and like it kind of was like, hey, remember when Toranaga was declaring war and then there was an earthquake? Kind of a bad omen.
He also begs Blackthorn to please let me go back to England with you, and Anjin San's is like, get your fucking shit together, man. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I love that shit. By the way, we kind of there was a big character development with John Blackthorn here because he finally after like denouncing his like loyalty to Toranaga because he was like, oh, you're a quitter, I'm out, peace. He goes off and tries to get his crew back, which he found out that was in this city, and just take the ship and just go home. He wants none of this war. But as soon as he met up with his crew, you could tell the amount of character development John Blackthorn went through.
Yeah.
With the comparison between him and his crew, where they're drunk, they're more savage than what they thought the Japanese were.
Yeah.
And they're like, he saw what they were, and like he knocked like pretty much Batman one of them and just threw his garment on him, and it was like filthy. And these were like the exact same words that the Japanese said to him when he came to the island.
Yeah. So
you could tell that he was really changed by his own environment. So I was like, that was a beautiful scene in my opinion.
yeah, it's a complete 160, and you're like, oh, character development from Anjin-san, which is great. Yeah, 180, sorry. But yeah,
so good.
like, Yabushige gets ratted out by one of the hostages and is ordered to commit seppuku. And you're just like, well, again, it is what it is.
Yeah, but like, you gotta love it though, because he just, when he found out like I got my back at a corner, I got nowhere else to go, and just accepted his fate.
Yeah.
And even though like I can't really hate on Yabushige's character here.
Yeah.
Like sure, it's shitty what he did. And I'm like, you see it, but like his character development to a point where I'm like, I hate the character, but I love the girl.
Yeah. Also love the scene when Blackthorn asks Toranaga to stop punishing the town for allegedly burning his ship down, and he's just like, if you won't listen to me, fuck it. I denounce your act, and he's about to commit seppuku. And just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Even Toranaga's like, who the fuck do you think you are? You think you're fucking samurai now? Jesus Christ.
Like, knocks the shit out of him. I'm like, fuck out of here. That shit.
Yeah.
But that shit fucked up, though. Like, that's how many skeletons are in Toranaga's closet, man.
Yeah.
He's willing to massacre a bit of the village to put up this ruse, because we find out later on that he's the one who burnt down the ship.
Yeah. That's why Yabushige is just like, you know what? You claim to be this high, better than us, high lord, like high morals, all that bullshit, but you really are just like the rest of us. Just scrounging around, trying to gain any opportunity you see fit to gain power. You act like you don't want it, but you crave it. And Toranaga's like, yeah, I do. You're like, oh, okay. At least you're
I know,
not
he doesn't answer, but you could clearly tell. It's like, oh yeah, he does.
Yeah. Like by the end of Yabushige, you're like, yeah, they all know the truth.
Yeah, he was like, why tell a dead man the future? I'm like,
right? Like, he's not that shocked that when Anjin sounds like, you don't understand that I came to these islands to use you. He's just like, okay, sure.
it's like, I know.
Yeah, I'm using you now.
And that's the thing, though. You can't trick a tricker.
Yeah.
You know, like, like it or not, Toranaga is, like, the biggest deceiver of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of, like, lengths he would go just to put up a ruse, just to make sure people would think like a completely 180 of what he actually is. It's fucking crazy, and I'm like, I really hope no edgelord Gen Zer would like take up this like
He is so
take up this
me.
persona. Like like you gotta understand the man had to do what he had to because of the time and era. Please
Yeah.
don't do that to anyone who's innocent and just doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. And then he reveals his ultimate playing card to Yabushika before he commits seppuku of like, oh, a few days from now I'm gonna play my master card where we're surrounded by all the regions, but I'd be like, Uno reverse, because he sends a letter to Lady Ochiba to be like, can you please pledge the heir to my cause, and that will make all the regions be like, well shit, you're illegitimate now, Ishido. We can't fight again with you.
You're Shogun now. Yeah. And I love how they did it. It's the poem that Mariko wrote, where it was, there are only flowers, cause they fall.
Yeah.
And then her friend, Lady, what's her name?
Ochiba.
Yeah, continues the line with, but the wind. And yeah, I was like, well, it's hard to explain, but it's like Toranaga is the wind,
Yeah.
if you know what I'm trying to get at. You can look up a YouTube video on the explanation of that, but I love the deeper meaning, and it just sucks that I can't explain it very well. But yeah, I love it that the battle of I forgot the name of the battle because it's a real fight. It actually it doesn't happen in the show. It happens in the future. We don't see it. We never get to see it. And we're like, well, we were building up to this moment. And also, by the way, the Crimson Sky thing, which we thought was Scorched Earth kind of battle, is just like, hey, this is our martyr, which is Mariko. She did her job, making the regions like cut in half because they're like, what happened to Mariko was horrible. Oh yeah, but we still want Farah. Oh, we don't want Farah no more.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, and we're like, I might be wrong.
And with
Again, this show's a little too smart for me.
Yeah, and with Lady Ochiba making the heir, or having the word of the heir turn against Lord Ishido, making the rest of the regions be like, we can't fight with you now. Toranaga's like the rightful ruler, because he's on the heir's side. And we don't really see what happens to Lord Ishido. Like, does he be like, alright, I'm done, and does he get banished, or does he die a slow and horrible death at the hands of Toranaga? We never know. I mean, like, this show ends open-endedly, and you're just like, what the fuck happens now? We kind of know what happens to Anjin-san, well, at least we think we do, where he dies old in England, but you're like, how long does it take?
No. I was about to get into that subject. That scene where at the start where he has like the two kids and they're like, were they savage? Like did the savage give that to you? Like, when you think about it, this isn't real. No, dude, like, remember when he helped one of the courtesans to like drop her dead husband and her son into sea, and he drops the cross. But in the dream, or like when he was old, he still had the cross.
Oh right, fuck.
Yeah.
So Toranaga's right.
So
he is destined to live here forever.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, the person who he's based on, who stayed in Japan.
Oh shit.
He never left Japan. Yeah, he had kids. He had a whole family. Yeah. So yeah, he never left.
Yeah.
He became one, and I think it was very, like, apparent now that like when he met up with his crew and he like kind of denounced his old life and was like, this is me now.
Yeah.
I think that was like a dead giveaway where like this might be a dream. This isn't real. And the fact that the kids were like, were they savages? For sure. If John Blackthorne ever went back to England and had a life, he would have never called them savages.
Yeah.
After what he has experienced.
Yeah. Toranaga tells Yabushige by the end, like, maybe one day I'll tell Blackthorne the truth. For now, I like keeping him here, because he is.
Yeah.
he gave me the motivation to go on, because he at the beginning when he's like, how do you know what's the point of fighting this fight when the odds are against you? And Blackthorn's just like, yeah, they're against me, but what if I win?
I love it that he pulled up the meme. Nah, I'd win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I love that. And like they're like, why are you giving him this much treatment? Why are you like treating him this way? And Tornado's like, he makes me laugh. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Alright.
And like maybe I'll make him rebuild my navy and then use him some more, and then one day I'll finally tell him the truth, but maybe by then it'll be too late for him to do anything anyway. So I'll just stay here, die an old man here, and never see home again. And you're like, damn, Toranaga, you are ruthless.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he's just testing. That's crazy. He just keeps testing people. I'm like, but I guess that's how you're supposed to do it when you're like trying to build trust with other people. But please, in real life, even though this is based on real life, don't do that. Don't test people.
Yeah, I do love the
Sure, you'll be trusting them, but they're gonna stop trusting you if you keep doing that shit.
right. I do love the last scene between Yabushige and Toranaga, where Yabushige just knows what's going on, and Toranaga acknowledges that with like a grin, and you're like, okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and he just takes it like a champ.
Yeah. Yeah, Yabushige takes it like a champ, even though he's spilling his own guts. You're like, these people are built different. Jesus Christ. Different air and all that.
True.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else to add before we rate I think this is the only season of Shogun.
I hope it is. But like, yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Like, there's the two parallels of like the first episode and the last episode where Buntaro like helps out, Ajin-san, where they kind of have a mutual understanding now because they both love the same woman, and now that she's gone, they're kind of just like at peace with it. And like you can even see John Blackthorne having peace with like, I belong here.
Yeah.
Where the entire show he's like, am I English or am I now Japanese? Which culture am I sticking to? And the fact that he like met up with his old crew and denounced himself from that old life. He's like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. And then this is the moment where he was like, this is where I'll stay. And especially with the nephew of Yabushige, where at the start where he like had the gun at him.
Yeah.
And wouldn't even give it up. Now he's just like rightfully giving up his sword and his gun to him.
Yeah, even the nephew's like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
Character development from Ajin-san.
Yeah, I was expecting more resistance, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I love it that it ties up in a bow and on a cliffhanger, because it shows us Torunaga standing at like a horizon and just like looking over and just like, that's it, like boom, Shogun. And I'm like, that was so sick, and we don't even see the climax of the entire story. We already know what's gonna happen, and the fact that like you're like, we don't need to show you the ending because it's gonna work out for Torunaga because he's that good.
Yeah.
Kind of just cements the fact that this guy is way smarter than everybody else, and is cunning than everybody else, and he will win.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where it leaves it. I was like, that's so good. That's so fucking good. And I didn't feel like, oh, I want more. Like I was like, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah. So what would you rate Shogun? I don't think should we call it season 1? Because that implies the season 2.
You could go with like FX Shogun.
Yeah. What would you rate FXS Shogun? Sorry. That's hard to say.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I would rate Shogun a 10 out of 10. It is so fucking good. A lot of the times you do have to pay attention. It's not a show where you're just like, you can eat while watching it. You can, but like if you're a fast reader, not me. Like if you get the politics, if you could piece 1 and 2 together, and I feel like I need to rewatch it because the space in between episodes where it's like 1 week, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lost because I'm like, what was the plan last week? Why does it connect here? I kind of need to rewatch it now, and I'll do it gladly
Yeah.
because the show is so fucking good. The characters are great. The I was a little bit iffy on the whole story of like John Blackthorne, but now I'm like, I'm all good with it because he is not the main character.
Yeah.
The story's not built of he's the savior of Japan or some shit like that. It is Torunagi,
Yeah.
and I feel like we finally get the Hiroyuki Sanada like standalone movie or slash TV series that we wanted, and this is it. Even though he's not here all that often, but yeah, the characters were great. The storytelling was great. Everything I feel like was well researched and well written. Everything connected when they needed to, and they tied it up with a very incomplete bow. But at the same time, I'll just take it.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of like the same thing with me and Metal Gear Solid, Phantom Menace. Oh, sorry, Phantom Pain.
What?
May the force be with you.
Sure.
But yeah, like with Phantom Pain, there was a lot left out. Here is like, you know what's gonna happen. Like the the show writers are like, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I cannot see giving the show anything less than a 10 out of 10. It's a really great show. Like, as you said, like finally Hiroyuki Sanada has the leading role that we've been wanting him to have all this time, and he executes his role with such power and such the way he carries himself. You're just like, I aspire to be like that, not with like backstabbing wise, but like just to be like be to be a
You're not gonna
man,
burn somebody's property just to test them.
right? Yeah. But to have that weight of like that, there's a man of few words, but everything he says has so much weight, so much gravitas to it, and he's a very respectable man. Even though people are questioning him, they still retain that like, nah, he's got a plan, and we have to respect that. And alongside that, him is Anasawi as Marika. I think she is a great breakout star, and like I read a article that she wasn't allowed to audition for Suicide Squad years ago because of her contract to her J-pop group. But I think that might have been a blessing in disguise for two reasons. One being that Suicide Squad is a pretty bad movie, and two being that we have to see her now, and I think this might be the launching point to see her do great things, along with Cosmo Jarvis as Blackthorn, of course. Like, I think those two are going to be doing great from now on.
Yeah. Cosmo Jarvis, I found out that he was in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's the soldier with PTSD. The one like that has shakes.
Oh
But
shit.
he can. Yeah, he's like, oh, you don't. He doesn't need help. He just needs another war guy. I was like, oh, that's where you're from. I remember I saw your face. You're just bald here.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything from them to like even Funjin-san, the courtesan who just sticks by Blackthorn this entire time. You're like, all right, what a loyal person you are, and becomes
I didn't know Mariko was in a J-pop group. That's fucking sick. I'm gonna look that up now.
right? But yeah, 10 out of 10s across the board, and like this show deserves the praise it's getting. And like I know we're only halfway through 2024, but I think this might be the best show of this year. I really can't see any other show succeeding it. Like from The Boys to
Yeah,
Star Wars.
we're gonna have shows that are like good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. But it's not gonna be shows.
right?
This thing had so much heart. This thing had so much things planned out and thought of
Yeah,
that we're like, I don't think anything can top this for a while.
right,
Unless the same director pulls out another banger. I'm like, all right.
right. And like I think the most important thing is that this show really shows respect and reverence to the Japanese culture in the way of the samurai. Like it doesn't like interpret it from how we've seen it from like other movies or shows where it's like, oh, it's obviously the perspective of a white person, like say Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai, where you're like, yeah, Tom Cruise is the main character and Ken Watanabe is like the secondary character. But here it's like, Hiroyuki Sanada definitely is the main character. He's the main draw of this show. I think my when I was watching a video for the show, my sister was like, "Are people really excited for a show led by another white man?" And I was like, "I get the reservations, but after watching the show, I was like, no, people are going to understand that it is led by Hiroyuki Sanada, and Blackthorn is just literally a side character at most points, even though he is the main star, or like one of the main stars. He is on the side where Sanada and Anasawi are the two actor and actresses propelling the show forward. And yeah,
Yeah, and John Blackthorne is just, again, as Enzo said, just the eyes that we need to like relate to when we're going into this, and especially with like, yeah, we're going on a tangent. We're supposed to be closing, but like, I gotta commend the show for like explaining it through the Japanese perspective of like why they do these.
yeah,
When to us might be a bit too much, might be too barbaric. In quotations there, where like seppuku is kind of too much for other people. Might be a little too taboo for other countries or other cultures. But for them, they explain it pretty well that like this is the highest of honor here.
yeah,
Oh, this thing that we're doing, it's normal to us, and this is what our way of thinking is when we do these.
yeah,
And we're like, that's great, because again, we get like the Last Samurai where they're like, we don't know why they do it.
yeah,
He just accepts to do it, or what he just accepts that these people do it.
yeah,
But he never like fully understood like the principles of why they do it or the philosophy of why.
yeah. As Marco
So-
said, to culminate the whole experience is that we only control if and when we die. Everything else is beyond our control. And you're like, from that perspective, you're like, oh, okay, I get.
Yeah.
I kind of understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you don't need to. You don't need to take it.
That far.
Do what you.
Yeah.
Of course, believe what you want to believe. Just know that, like, oh, this is their way of thinking. Great. You
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, that's been our video for FX's Shogun. What do you guys think? What's your favorite standalone show? If there is one, we had Masters of the Air this year. That's another great standalone show. Is there anything else you guys want us to talk about? That's a great standalone series. Maybe one day we'll do Band of Brothers or other one-time shows, if ever, in the future. But yeah, if you like our videos, please leave them a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments and our reaction to the latest trailers, and Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, I'm Enz Wolf on Letterboxd, and Zoe does voices on TikTok. Where can they find you?
But you can find me at JohnJam_ on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next time, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.